So I wanted to talk about how my thought process has kind of changed over the past year or so, and what the scenario was that I got some feedback at work that I automatically became defensive over. So I produced a piece of work, and the recipient then came back to me and said, Lorna, you need to produce higher work than this, like higher quality work than this, with a bunch of points. And I originally, well, I took that very personally. I was hurt by that. I was, I guess it hurt my ego. Um, you know, um, I was like, how dare you say that about, obviously I didn't say this, but in my head I was like, how dare you say that? Like, I produce great work and I do great things, and I then was like, then worrying. I was like, oh well, then, well, maybe this is just like proof that, you know, I don't need, like, that I don't deserve my pay grade, and that I'm not good at my job, and that just everything kind of like spiraled. I spiraled. And, I went out for a meal, and, I was kind of like, rah, 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 like, this was such a bad thing, and like, I can't believe he did that, and this, that, and the other. And I was like, quite angry and quite upset by it, because I was like hurt. I was hurt that, he said that my quality of work wasn't great, and I took that internally as that's me as a whole, and me as like uh in my job completely, which was completely a me problem, because I was the one that internalized it that way. And the after I sat with it for a while, I kind of like said to myself, I'm like, well, why am I hurt by this? Like, why am I feeling the way that I am about it? And why am I getting so bothered about it? Like, take the points that were made and redo it. Like, um, you know, it was just one piece of work, and he wasn't saying that I was bad at my job. He wasn't saying that I'd done other stuff bad. It was just this one piece of work that I could have done differently, and I could have done better on it. Like, I need to not internalize that as a personal dig or slight to everything that I am, or just me personally in general, which I guess I've internalized as the, you know, what can I learn from that? And what I can learn from that is that, I needed a bit of steering, and kind of needed to think about the project differently. I'd never really been given steering on what this output should be, so I just produced stuff just for the sake of it. I didn't really know what was important, what isn't important, what stands out, what resonates with people. So really, I was just kind of like dumping information that sounded good, but doesn't mean that it is. Like, and it just ended up like a minefield. And I've been doing that for a few months, like on this piece of work that I produce like every month. And that's not helpful. And I'm like there wondering like why people aren't engaging in this piece of content. And I'm like, I sat with my feelings, and I sat with the piece of work, and I was like, why isn't this of high quality? I spent a lot of time on it, but that doesn't mean it's high quality. I really thought about it, and I produced all these notes, and this is what I became the output. That doesn't mean that it's high quality. The high quality is the output if it's useful and applicable to the people that are reading it. And this like completely blew my mind, because I'd not thought about it that way. I'd been thinking too literally about it. Like, oh, I've got all these notes, and if I just throw them all in, and I put some quotes in that I think sound good, then it's gonna work. It'll be fine, you know. Like what can go wrong? Like I'm just sharing a summary of what's happened. People don't want that. If they wanted to know that, they would have come on the event, and they would have been on, like, they would have listened. But what I needed to do, and what I have done now, is that I've changed my complete perspective on it. Like, this piece of output of this content, right? It's like an event of like guest speakers talking and attendees all talking and bringing examples in. And I needed to think about it of how can I make it applicable and how can I make it useful for people reading it afterwards? Like, what are the points that people have made that they can then take further into their organizations and roles? And I was like, light bulb moment. Like, I know that I do this every day, but in this piece of content, I've never done it and I've never thought about it that way. And I was like, damn, okay, putting it in some massive blog white paper type article thing isn't going to get people to look at it. People don't want to read all that stuff. Give me the pointers, give me the headers, give me what I need to do, what were the key information, and how can I use this in my role. Infographic, shiny piece of content, completely changes my whole perspective, which is going to drive a more positive output in the other things that I produce, because I'll know what I'm looking for. I'll know what to produce, and I'll know how to get that information. And like, it's just completely like last night I was not in a good place because I was like, I'm so bad at my job, maybe I need to leave, like, what am I doing, like, I'm not worth my pay grade. And that was a me problem, and that was me projecting how I felt about me and how I feel about that. I clearly think that I'm not worth it, and I'm clearly not worth, I clearly think that I'm not worth my pay grade, and that I think other people don't, that they've just given it because I'm nice, like, because they've been nice. Like, I just believe a lot of things clearly internally that made me spiral. And I just needed to turn it around and go, okay, what am I going to learn from it? Which completely blew my mind. And I wanted to share that with you because I feel at peace now. And like, I would have let that bother me for like so long. Like, I would have been like down for another few weeks. I would have probably started looking for new jobs. I would have been like, don't worry, just take my pay off me. Like, all of these things. And it just would have been a complete nightmare. So don't do that. The moral of the story is sit with your feelings. It's okay to feel whatever you feel. Really process about why you're feeling it, what you can do to learn from it, and what you're going to do moving forward. Thank you to Be Better podcast. Thank you to Be Better podcast for driving my thoughts and helping me recognize that. God damn. I love my life. Yeah. That's just a ramble, but I hope you enjoyed it.